All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Hopefully, I'm all connected. Greetings, welcome. Hello, how you doing? And good to see you all here. All right, we're live on Rockfin. Hello, Rockfin people. Hello, hello. That's interesting. Denver. Yeah. Dr. Vanessa Carey, appointed as the WHO Director General Special Envoy for Climate Change and Health. Yeah, no, it is not a good look. Not a good look. It does not help the cause of climate change whatsoever. Yeah, John Podesta is the climate czar. Yeah, I mean, so ridiculous. That man is pure evil. Pure evil. And I don't know, again, just because he's speaking on climate change doesn't mean climate change is a hoax. It just means, I don't know, these people get into power in order to affect some other kind of agenda. It's clearly not solving climate change. Anyways. All right. Let's get into it. Lots to cover today, as usual. How is it where you're at? Check in, chime in. Y'all, I like seeing people's temperature UV readings. If y'all got them for me. It is slightly cooler today. Ever so slightly. All right. Let's start with this from Nico House. This is a really good, you know that Niger is having a bit of a political unrest. People are rioting. And people are trying to take their country back. Let's see, 29 C here. Gene, are you at your Costa Rica? Not enough rain. 90 in Orlando, feels like 100. 81 overcast near Chicago. 83 in Virginia. 9 UVI. That's pretty. I'm assuming you're in Virginia. I don't know where you are. East Coast, we'll say. UV 11? Jesus. Judy Truitt, always with the high UVs. Well, Africans are not happy about how they've been treated. And, still not happy about how they've been treated. So, is it any wonder that they're unhappy? I don't know. Somebody posted one of the righties on Twitter posted a political party in South Africa, and they were saying, down with the Boers, kill the whites, and he's like, this is what you get when you get, when you have a woke agenda. And I was like, dude, I didn't even have the energy to respond. I mean, I was just like, you're too stupid to even understand like what anything anybody's going to say about this because you're a moron. Sorry. It's mean. I'm very mean. But it's true. I mean, if you can't, if you can't understand why South Africans might be upset at the invaders that stole from them and killed them for hundreds of years and kept them under boot to the neck for hundreds of years, right? I mean, it's understandable, wouldn't you think? No, you don't want to have historical context in that case. You want to go woke agenda. I don't know. I agree that the woke agenda, whatever that is, can be a little overblown sometimes. Especially in the U.S., but I don't necessarily think that, there's a reason why people are upset generationally. And it's not really, I don't know. It's good. It might be good to understand that, is all I'm saying. It might be good to understand that. Yeah, I see, to me, the woke agenda or whatever is just people using wokeness in order to do the opposite of wokeness, right? Do the opposite of wokeness. Shut you down, censor you, shut down debate or whatever. But, I can understand, and to that account, like, I can understand the people of South Africa being pissed off at the Boers. Do I think it's going to solve anything to go out and, like, get the people that you feel have wronged you? I don't know. I mean, how do people feel about the wealthy? How do people feel about I see people say eat the rich all the time. And nobody seems to be offended by that. Nobody seems to be like, "Oh, that's too much." I see people say kill the rich, eat the rich, Do I think that that's actually a great answer? I don't know. I don't know that I do. I understand the sentiment, but I don't necessarily think that's a solution, right? You'd like to see some justice, but you don't need to. I mean, I don't necessarily want to see like blood in the streets because, we're going to end up in the same place. The oppressed become the oppressors, and then the cycle begins anew. Anyways. Well, let's listen to this from Nico House because he breaks this down what's happening in Niger pretty well.
So, in case you missed the news, Niger has had a military coup, and I'm letting you know right now, before all the Western media tells you they want democracy back in Niger, let me tell you the real reason for this coup and why not all coups are created equally. This is Mohamed Bazoum, the former, or current, depending on how you look at it, president of Niger. As you can see, he's a little bit cozy with Emmanuel Macron. This is important, and we're going to talk about it in a sense. You see, Macron is actually the president of France, and 70% of France's electricity comes from nuclear power. Niger is the fourth largest producer of uranium in the world, and guess who predominantly mines their uranium? A French company called Areva. Guess whose company provides most of the nuclear power to France? Areva. Now, despite Niger basically being a French colony, their president basically being a puppet of Macron in France, only 1 in 7 people who live in Niger have power, despite the majority of their number one resource, which provides power, going to France basically for free. So because of the president's loyalty to Macron and unwillingness to fight for Nigerians, people in Niger literally can't keep their lights on if they've ever had lights at all. While France plunders Niger for its natural resources. And you're going to have plenty of Western media people and leaders from the Western world coming out and say they want democracy in Niger. But let's not forget, this is the same U.S. and France that overthrew Gaddafi in Libya, and we literally have open market slavery in Libya right now in 2023, and they haven't done anything about it because they don't care about democratically elected individuals unless they play for the team of the United States, France, and NATO. And you hear this talk of sanctions, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how much more can you sanction them? You're literally taking everything they have already, which is why the coup even happened. But I digress. All calls for Western involvement in Niger are only driven by profiteering and plundering. They don't give a damn about democracy. And if they did, they wouldn't be in the situation in Niger to begin with.
Anyways, good recap on what's going on there by Nico House. It's interesting. France gets so much energy from nuclear power, and that they get all their uranium from Niger. You know, nuclear power sounds so green. You know, you have to mine it, you have to enrich it, right? It takes a lot to, you know, you have to keep the nuclear power plants rolling. And how long is that going to last with imminent climate change, you know, major weather events happening, with droughts happening, with low river levels happening, with, you know. Deline Parole says France uses 75% of their clean water for nuclear. Yeesh. Right. Nuclear power is very destructive and very resource hungry. And it is not green power whatsoever. It's just another form of energy in industrial civilization, and one that could be extremely dangerous if no one's around to maintain these nuclear power plants. Just always remember, if something goes awry, you know, you think that industrial civilization is bulletproof. You think that it's going to be around forever. You think that there's no way that we're, you know, something major is going to happen and take a good number of us out, or take, you know, a region of the world out. Who knows what it could be? Could be war. Could be climate disaster. Could be a meteor. Who knows? But if a good chunk of industrial civilization somehow goes down, collapses, who is going to maintain those nuclear power plants? Who's going to stop them from melting down? And remember that is always kind of floating in the background of, you know, what could be the future or the collapse of civilization as we know it. And it's not a great thought. Not a great thought. So maybe we should shut them all down now. Maybe one of the major planks of actually not destroying the rest of the earth, for all living creatures, maybe one of the major pushes should be to shut down all nuclear power immediately. Zing says, according to Breaking Together, we need upwards of 55,000 more nuclear power plants, and we don't actually have the minerals. Again, renewable energy is not renewable. It's rebuildable. And it's all resource heavy. Well, let's on that note, but really quickly, to go back to that segment on Niger, I mean, of course, it looks like we, you know, we're interested in the people uprising and taking out the government that's currently in power. Kind of like Venezuela, right? We don't like the government that's in power. And actually, Nico has another video that ties it in with Juan Guaido, right? Ties the current situation in Niger along with the situation in Venezuela. Like we were trying to push regime change in Venezuela, and Trump tried to do that too. Because it was in our interest, right? So. All right. Let's see. Well, let's look at this. Something along the same lines, if we're talking about renewable energy and the folly of it, the ultimate folly of it. Mike Udema, who is a huge champion of well, let's just green up the grid and everything's going to be great. Look at all his hashtags: climate, energy, renewables, renewable energy, Green New Deal. I don't mean to poop on Mike Udema. I'm sure he means well. I'm sure his heart is in the right place. If not his non-understanding of renewable energy or what it means to try to electrify the world, right? And Doomer Girl News says, good idea. Let's take this area. Oh, he says, why doesn't every parking lot get a solar power upgrade? We have so many solutions to this crisis. Stop the delays and implement them. And Doomer Girl News says, good idea. Let's take this area of nature we've paved over with fossil fuels for our cars that are made from fossil fuels and cover them with a canopy of fossil fuels, and they can charge our fossil fuel cars and devices. This will save us from using fossil fuels. And that is a really great comment on that. Tim, DC on call-in. Thank you for the link. About the nuclear power trap. I don't know. Let's see. This just took me to the actual I can't actually find the link to the here we go. I see it. Don't know if I can read it today, but maybe I'll excuse me, bring it back for tomorrow. But thanks, Tim. Yeah. Did you see? Okay, so not only did Sam Bankman-Fried get freed, have charges dropped for his role in FTX, in the FTX scam. Apparently, he was part of another, like an altcoin, that got rugged. Do you guys know what rugged means? Rugged means somebody took all the funds, made off with all the funds. You know, mysteriously somebody took all the liquidity from this coin, and apparently it was tied to Sam Bankman-Fried. So while this guy is on house arrest in his parents' basement, this coin, I don't even know what the coin is, but had a pretty big market cap, was rugged. All the coin went down to zero, or pretty much zero, and it was being traced back to his wallet. They traced this rug back to Sam Bankman-Fried's wallet. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? It was called Bald. I think was a company, or the coin. And somebody, absconded with all the funds, and they said it was tied to Sam Bankman-Fried. So this guy is stealing people's money while he's on house arrest and getting off, having charges dropped against him from the DOJ. It's really unfortunate. It's very something is fishy in Denmark, right? Because this guy is doing this stuff and he's taking down people's confidence in the crypto world. I'm involved in the crypto world, but there's nothing wrong with the crypto world if people like Sam Bankman-Fried would stop stealing money from people from the crypto world. And some people think that this is actually a plan, right? Because they are the SEC and currently the Biden administration. They're trying to crack down on crypto exchanges, crypto banks. I read the other day that Elizabeth Warren, right, one of the people that was like, Bitcoin is bad for the environment. She's on that train, right? Apparently, she introduced legislation that was going to greatly restrict personal crypto wallets, and which is wild to me. Really, you can't have your own crypto wallet? That is insane, because it's the only way people can keep their money safe. Like right now, as it stands, don't keep your money on an exchange if you have crypto, because there's a high probability that these crypto exchanges are not very safe, right? That there are backdoors, that there are and if the SEC or the government, on any given day, they could go, hey, we're going to shut you down, like they tried to do to Binance, or they're trying to do to Binance, like they're trying to do to Coinbase, like they're trying to do to all the crypto exchanges. So don't keep your crypto on an exchange. Keep it in your own wallet. But then if somebody passes legislation that says you can't have your own crypto wallet, well, what does that mean? That means, where do you store your crypto, or are you going to be able to even have crypto? And so this stinks to high heaven. And I hope somebody out there can, I don't know what the answer to this is, because they're going to keep slamming the crypto world from the securities exchange side. So I don't know where this ends. But this goes on in the regular banking world as well. So the idea that this is just crypto related, or crypto is scammy or weird, not necessarily, because lots of very very highly illegal things happen in the regular banking world, and people seem to be okay with that, right? Jamie Dimon and Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, I said too much. What happened to Bernie Madoff and Jamie Dimon? J.P. Morgan and Bernie Madoff. Oh no, that wasn't weird. I actually really love crypto. I love the idea of it. I love the utility of it, and I love the possibilities with it. They don't want, it's like when somebody elects a socialist government in South America, or somebody somewhere around the world elects a leader that's going to serve the people, and maybe they're going to develop their own money and get out of the petrodollar system or the SWIFT system, and they're like, we're going to do our own thing, and it's going to be good for the people. As soon as that happens, the U.S. is like, hell no, you're not going to do that. We don't want good things happening for people around the world. We want, only corruption and theft. That's all we want. So, it's the same thing with crypto. Crypto is actually very good for people. Crypto actually could help people develop wealth, could give people wealth, could give people access to, a way to make money outside of the, debt slave system. They don't want that, so they're trying to do everything in their power to shut that down. Cyrus says Coinbase just had a monster up move. Really? Okay. Interesting. Did it now? I wonder. Just now? I'm curious. Well, who knows what that means? All right. I think. All right, let's move on to another story here. There's wet bulb temperatures afoot. Urgent weather service, weather message, National Weather Service, Jackson, Mississippi. I can't read all the names of these cities. Excessive heat warning remains in effect from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday. Dangerously hot conditions with heat index values between 110 and 115 degrees expected. Where portions of northeast Louisiana, central, south central, southwest, west central Mississippi. They're talking about wet bulb temperatures. And this is from Sam Carana. High wet bulb globe temperatures are forecast to hit Louisiana over the next few days. Let's look at this for a second. The image below shows a forecast for August 2nd, 2023. Wet bulb temperatures as high as 35 C forecast for a location 10 miles southeast of Abbeville, Louisiana. As temperatures and humidity keeps rising, a tipping point can be reached where the wind factor no longer matters. In a sense, the wind can no longer provide cooling. The human body can cool itself by sweating, which has a physiological limit that was long described as 35 C wet bulb temperature. Once the wet bulb temperature reaches 35 C, one can no longer lose heat by perspiration, even in a strong wind, but instead one will start gaining heat from the air beyond a wet bulb temperature of 35 C. So this is what it's looking like on a map here. So if you live in those areas, I'm sorry you guys could not see that. If you live in those areas, please take precaution, beware. A 111 heat index. Poppy Davis, jeez. That's crazy. And uncomfortable. Sounds uncomfortable. This from Steve Austin, Bionic Man. Is it being a doomer to point out fossil fuel use is at record highs in the year 2023? I was talking about this yesterday. Global coal demand set to remain at record levels in 2023. So there is no stopping the fossil fuels right now. There's no clear indication that we are lowering our demand for fossil fuels. In this age of climate crisis, the world is consuming more oil than ever. Peak demand, not yet. On my calculations, global oil demand has surpassed, in the past few weeks, the peak set in 2019 before the COVID pandemic. Yeah, that's what's happening. There's no getting off the fossil fuel train, not right now, and nobody's planning on doing that. So it makes me, it just is a little hard to believe when people are saying, like, they're going to demolish, the economy. They're going to crash the economy, to send you into, I don't know, digital slavery or something. I guess, but like that would mean crashing the economy, and nobody wants to do that. Nobody really wants to do that. they might be able to sustain that for a little while, and they did by printing a lot of money during COVID. But you can't sustain that, and yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see how it would work out. I may be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong if I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. It just doesn't sound like it adds up to anything to me. Anything logical, that is. Man, the destruction in Beijing is just off the charts. And elsewhere, Beijing and elsewhere. China's getting just absolutely destroyed. This is some crazy footage here. Some massive damage. Yeah, Russ Taylor, I saw that. The UK grants hundreds of new oil and gas wells. I think we talked about that. Licenses. Sunak just approved. There's no intention or clear or indication that they're going to stop doing these things. And so it even makes me question the whole like climate change lockdown thing. Like I don't see it. They did something for COVID, but I just don't see where they're really all that serious about climate change. Like we've had decades for somebody to go like, "Hey, we're going to take this really seriously." And nobody takes it really seriously. It's always like, "No, not today. Sorry, can't do it. Sorry, oil's a priority. Sorry, industrial civilization is a priority. Sorry, business as usual is a priority. We can't really actually get off this train. We can't stop this." That's the reality, right? Where are we at? 2023, highest oil demand ever, highest coal demand ever. It's not going in the other direction. So when somebody says climate change lockdowns or it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen until climate change starts slapping things down to the point where like things aren't functioning anymore. And then they might go, "Oh, well, shoot, I guess maybe we'll do something about this." I don't know. I just don't see it. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll raise my hand in the circle and say, "Oh, I miscalculated that one." All right. Okay, so now's the time when I'm about to leave YouTube. I'm about to leave YouTube and go to Rockfin and Callin. But before I do, the very best ways to support the show: paypal.me/Kevin Sandbloom, Venmo @Kevin Sandbloom, Cash App @Red Llama Music, buymeacoffee.com/Black Bear News. Of course, there's Super Rays and Super Chats and Patreon, and thank you to all that support the show. Thank you. I'll see you all over on Rockfin. We're going to talk about a couple of more stories. All right? YouTubers, peace.